And with all the action on the Hill, joining me now, California Congressman Adam Schiff, ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, thank you very much. The Iran deal, now there's talk that some Republicans may want to postpone the vote. The Rules Committee is going to meet again later today. They're going to say they never got those side deals involving the international inspectors and Iran, and therefore the clock hasn't even started. Is this likely to have any effect?
Well, it may have an effect on whether we get to vote on the deal this week. I don't think it's going to change the overall trajectory. There are obviously enough votes in both the House and Senate to sustain the deal, to sustain a potential presidential veto if it comes to that. But it does show some disarray among the GOP and a lack of coordination between their message in the Senate, where they're arguing for a vote, and the message in the House, where they're arguing effectively against a vote. I hope we can move forward. I think we all know where the votes are effectively on this, and I don't think it's in our national interest or that of our allies to put this off indefinitely.
Hillary Clinton is trying to get on top of the email problem with a rather awkward series of interviews that were an apology or not an apology. There's a focus group that they've looked at in New Hampshire, which says that the voters out there really want to know about this, and certainly the donors do, I'm told. So it's not just a press issue. What can she do now, and what about the Trey Gowdy committee that you're participating in, led by the Republicans, of course, which we'll hear from her on October 22nd?
Well, I think the Secretary is doing really all that she can do, and that is calling for the publication of all of her emails so the public can decide for themselves what's in those emails and what weight to give them. At the same time, the Select Committee on Benghazi, which was supposed to be about the events in Benghazi and what happened and shedding new light on it, really hasn't accomplished anything. 16 months and $4 million into this process. We still have no new insights, nothing really that we've learned that the Accountability Review Board didn't already cover in its report, or the other 7 or 8 congressional investigations. So that's been very discouraging to see not only how this Select Committee has been hijacked as an arm of the Republican National Committee, but the fact that the families were assured this would be a nonpartisan fact-finding mission, and it really has turned into nothing but an effort to somehow tear down Secretary of State Clinton.
Well, isn't she in some way responsible because of the slow release of the State Department's vetting of those emails? They can't have their hearings until they see what's out there.
Well, the committee already has the Benghazi emails, so we could go ahead with our own hearings. There's really nothing holding us back. So, no, I don't think this is the Secretary's responsibility. And indeed, had the Secretary used an official State Department server, which would have been unclassified, as she acknowledges she should have used, the same issues would remain. That is, were there classified emails, not classified at the time, but subsequently classified, that went through this server? So we've been going through the same thing, the same release of materials through the FOIA process. So I don't think you can really lay that at the Secretary's feet. But the responsibility for what we do in Congress, for whether our Select Committee that was supposed to be about the events that happened on that tragic day is essentially hijacked for political purposes, that's our own responsibility. We have nobody to blame but ourselves for that.
And outside right now, Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, and others, Tea Party advocates protesting against the Iran deal. Trump saying in an op-ed today that it was amateur hour and that he could have negotiated a better deal. Your reaction? Well,
you know, he provides great entertainment, but I have to say there's a tragic comic element to this, because the Iran deal is deathly serious. This is among the most difficult decisions we face, and to treat it in the kind of slapstick fashion that I think Donald Trump brings to this is a disservice to a very serious issue. Not surprisingly, given this was a very hard negotiation with an implacable foe, there are many things to be said for this agreement and many to be said against it. But that really deserves a thoughtful debate, not this caricature which we're seeing out on the lawn in front of the Capitol.
Adam Schiff, thank you, Congressman.